Welcome to Wrestling News and Opinions Breakdown for Ring of Honor Wrestling, which was aired on June 10th, 2015 on Destination America. It originally took place at the Ted Reeves Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And the show started off with the tag team champs cutting a promo. As Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, The Addiction, were talking about Red Dragon. And they said, first Kaz said, "If you pray for the rain, don't get mad when you gotta deal with the mud." And then Christopher Daniels said that Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish were entitled. They're part of the entitlement generation. They think they deserve a shot. And he said they don't, but they're giving them one anyway. But apparently before the match outside, they didn't show it, but Bobby Fish was attacked outside the arena, and so he was not able to wrestle in this match. So Kyle O'Reilly would have to face The Addiction by himself. As Christopher Daniels, he was in the ring cutting a promo before the match saying that the contract said that they were going against Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, and not Kyle O'Reilly and a suitable replacement. It would have to be O'Reilly and Fish, and if Fish couldn't compete, well, tough luck. So Kyle O'Reilly, he went out there and he faced them by himself. In this match, first off, Kaz and Daniels, they were using, the numbers against them as they were overpowering them. But then Kyle O'Reilly would end up changing momentum eventually. And then he had a big spot where he sat them both in a chair outside the ring, and then he did a front missile drop kick on both of them from the ring apron. It was pretty impressive. And then a little bit later, he ended up doing the triple rolling double underhook butterfly suplexes. And he did that into an Armageddon cross arm breaker. And then he ended up grabbing the leg, combining it with a knee bar on Kaz. So O'Reilly did that to Kazarian, but then Daniels ended up breaking it up with the tag team belt, getting DQ'd as he was smashing Kyle O'Reilly with that tag team belt. But then ACH and Matt Sydal came out to save O'Reilly, and The Addiction ran off. So The Addiction sticks with the belts, although Kyle O'Reilly officially gets the win by disqualification. So this is a fun match. I thought, both Kazarian and Daniels did a good job on the mic before the match, in the promo and then in the ring. I thought this is, a pretty fun match. It was pretty exciting. These guys are pretty good performers. And O'Reilly, he's had some pretty awesome matches that you could definitely go check out on, throughout YouTube. Maybe check out some of his matches with Sami Callihan, who's now wrestling over in NXT as Solomon Crow. Those are some awesome matches I would definitely recommend checking out. It was pretty cool to see Matt Sydal, as I'm sure some of you know him as Evan Bourne from his days in WWE. But Matt Sydal is a pretty cool character. I would actually recommend going and checking out his episode of The Art of Wrestling when he was on Colt Cabana's podcast and giving that a listen. Like I said, this is a pretty cool match, to start off the show. Definitely enjoyed it. So then next we had Mark Briscoe cutting a promo on Donovan Dijak. And last week we saw, Dijak ended up attacking him after their matches. It was the House of Truth. And of course, Jay Diesel was replacing Jay Lethal. But Donovan Dijak and Jay Diesel were going against the Briscoes. And then, after the match, they said Donovan attacked Mark Briscoe. They showed a clip of that. So Mark was cutting a promo on their match that they're going to be having at the Best in the World 2015. That's going to be Friday, June 19th in New York City. And ODB is going to be in Briscoe's corner by his side. And, of course, Truth Martini will be there with Donovan Dijak. So that was a pretty cool promo by the Sussex Chicken. And I definitely would, recommend checking that out. I'm definitely interested to see that match as well as all the other matches they got set up for that Best in the World. Of course, later on they would talk more about that. So now we went back to some more in-ring action, and we had Dalton Castle versus the legend, Jushin Thunder Liger. One of the greatest wrestlers ever, one of the best light heavyweight wrestlers, one of the best lightweight wrestlers. Liger is famous for all his, great matches over in Japan. He also, is the innovator of the shooting star press. And in this match, early on, Liger was in control. We saw him do a surfboard. We also saw him do a moonsault from the apron to the outside on Castle. But Castle would end up turning things around for a bit. But then Liger ended up hitting him with the Liger bomb. Castle kicked at it too, but then Liger hits the brain buster, and it was 1, 2, 3. Jushin Thunder Liger wins. So Jushin Thunder Liger beat Dalton Castle. And I'll tell you, Castle, he's definitely got that heel gimmick down. You just want to boo Dalton Castle. He's kind of like, I don't even know what to say about this guy. He's got quite the gimmick, though. But he's definitely not my, type of wrestler. But anyway, so then we had, a commercial. And after the commercial break, Jushin Thunder Liger, he was talking to Cheeseburger. He was actually giving him tips on how to slap somebody. So Cheeseburger and Liger. And so next we had a match between the former tag team of Brutal Burgers. Brutal Bob Evans went up against Cheeseburger. I actually used to know a guy named Cheeseburger. He actually looked like Cheeseburger, but he wasn't from New Jersey. At least that's where they're billing Cheeseburger from. The Cheeseburger I knew was from Michigan. But Brutal Bob Evans, he actually looks like the Rob Kudry of wrestling, and that's Rob Kudry from Hot Tub Time Machine too. So anyway, they were going at a clear size advantage for Bob Evans, and this one was Cheeseburger. He's thin as a rail, but Cheeseburger ended up getting Bob Evans outside the ring, and he ended up doing a moonsault off the steel barricade, which was pretty impressive. And then he ended up doing that palm strike, and it was pretty cheesy, but he is Cheeseburger. But he sent Brutal Bob over the top rope with that palm strike that he learned from Liger. They say it was total cheese, but he is Cheeseburger. So then Bob ended up hitting Cheeseburger with the shoulder block. That's his finisher right there. And he had the match won. He went for the pin, and it was 1, 2, wait a minute. He pulls Cheeseburger up from the mat. So Brutal Bob Evans would not let this match end, and then he ends up bringing Cheeseburger over to the outside, and he sends Cheeseburger through the table from the apron with a side slam. It was vicious. So quite the friggin' move right there. That was just insanity. The ref stopped the match right then. They called the match, I guess you could call it a TKO, and give the win to Bob Evans there, sending Cheeseburger through the table, because that surely was pretty violent. So then we had Jay Lethal cutting a promo, and Lethal ended up cutting a promo on Briscoe. They got the match coming up, the Battle of the Belts at Best in the World 2015. This Jay Briscoe's going to have his, world title on the line, and Lethal will have his TV title on the line. And of course, he was talking about how they're going to have the contract signing next week. And then he ended up having a promo by Briscoe, and he said that if Lethal tries anything during that contract signing, then he's going to give the people a free show. So definitely you got to tune in to check out that one right there. The contract signed between Lethal and Briscoe, as something's going to go down. It's just a matter of what is going to happen. So then we had the main event of the night, the match we'd all been waiting for, the Kingdom versus the Bullet Club. And representing the Kingdom, Michael Bennett and Matt Taven with Maria Kanellis, and the Bullet Club represented by Guns and Gallows, Doc Gallows, and Machine Gun Karl Anderson. And that's right there where it's at, baby. The Bullet Club is one of my favorite tag teams in all of wrestling. Machine Gun and Gallows, they have one of the best podcasts. I'd actually say the second best podcast, right behind Art of Wrestling with Talk and Shop. I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. So anyway, in the match, it ended up starting out with Anderson chasing after Maria. And so then Gallows and Taven were going at it in the ring. Bennett then went to the aid of Maria. Taven then went flying over the top rope to the outside, wiping out both Guns and Gallows. Bennett then did a senton off the apron to Gallows. And then Taven ended up going to the top as the Kingdom set up for a spike pile driver, but Machine Gun Anderson caught Taven with the stun gun, and then with the gun stun. And so then Gallows dropped Bennett on the ring apron with a fireman's carry flapjack, and they cut to commercial. So they came back from commercial, and the Bullet Club was just beating the crap out of Bennett, and they were hitting him, with some double team moves. They did like a belly to back gun stun, and then Taven ended up coming off the rope with a frog splash to Anderson. So he hit him with the frog splash, and then Gallows went to deal with Taven, but Taven sent him to the outside. And now Taven and Bennett got some double team moves in on Anderson, and they did a double drop kick, sending Gallows back to the outside when he tried to enter the ring. Anderson then tried fighting off both Taven and Bennett, but Bennett slipped out of the gun stun, and then Taven hit Anderson with a super kick, followed by a spear by Bennett. It looked like Taven and Bennett were going for a spike pile driver once again, but again, they don't get it as Taven ended up doing a moonsault to Gallows outside the ring, and then Anderson flipped Bennett in the ring and unloaded with a fury of fists. And when Red Shoes, the referee, tried to back him off, Anderson tossed Red Shoes, and then Bennett did the same as Bennett and Anderson kept trading fists. Meanwhile, outside the ring, Gallows sent Taven into the barricade and was looking to punish him with a chair. Anderson then hit Red Shoes again, sending him down to the mat for a third time. Gallows now hit the ring with the chair and hit Bennett as Red Shoes called for the bell. So now the bell had been called and the Bullet Club had been disqualified, but the Bullet Club went to go for the Magic Killer to Bennett through the chairs that they had set up in the ring, but Maria went up to the ring apron and she saved Bennett as she distracted Anderson, who was clearly smitten with Maria. But Gallows grabbed Maria and Anderson snapped out of it as the Bullet Club lifted her up for the Magic Killer. They're going to send her through the chairs, but Bennett comes and saves Maria. And now Bennett fought off the Bullet Club for a moment, but then Karl Anderson hits him with the gun stun. And then Taven came off the top rope, but Gallows caught him in midair. And now the Bullet Club set him up for the Magic Killer, and they send Taven through the chairs with the Magic Killer, and it was too sweet. Bullet Club, baby. They might have got DQ'd, but they definitely beat the crap out of the Kingdom. I thought it was awesome. Definitely enjoyed this episode of Ring of Honor. Especially the main event was wicked sweet. It was too sweet. I thought it was a good show overall, all around. Open it up with the tag team champs. The Addiction. Thought that was pretty cool. Also, seeing, like I said, Matt Sydal. Not really a big fan of Dalton Castle, but Jushin Thunder Liger, he's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Even though he is 50 years old, he's awesome. He's an icon. So it's cool to see him out there. So, Ring of Honor and New Japan, obviously got the talent share going on. And then Brutal Bob Evans and Cheeseburger was actually reminiscent of Moose and Carino from last week, as we see once again, a big guy, not the biggest guy in Bob Evans, but compared to Cheeseburger, he sure is big. And then another brutal moment of violence sent him through that table. It was pretty awesome. And like I said, of course, the Bullet Club, even though they technically lost with the disqualification to the Kingdom, it was good to see him just beat the crap out of them anyway. Like I said, Bullet Club, they're one of my favorites. It's definitely awesome to see them on American television. Of course, they're also on New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can check that out Fridays on AXS. And then here, now we have on Destination America Ring of Honor on Wednesdays. So that was definitely cool. I definitely recommend checking it out. Let me know what you thought about Ring of Honor in the comment section below. So what'd you think about the opening match with the Addiction and Kyle O'Reilly, half of the Red Dragon, and then also Dalton Castle versus Jushin Thunder Liger, and then Brutal Bob Evans versus Cheeseburger, and of course the Kingdom versus the Bullet Club. Like I said, I thought it was a pretty entertaining show overall. Ring of Honor, it's a fun show to watch. It's only an hour long. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who hasn't checked it out already. And for those of you who have, like I said, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Definitely, I enjoyed the Bullet Club. Anytime you got the Bullet Club on TV, I always think that's awesome. I said they were just on New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. And hopefully we'll get to see more of them in the coming weeks. and definitely happy to see Ring of Honor on Destination America. I think it's going pretty good. And, I don't have Sinclair Broadcasting, so that's one thing. If you didn't have Sinclair Broadcasting, then you weren't able to see this now. With them going to Destination America, they air, the Sinclair show. And it might be a few days later, but still, I think it's pretty cool. And, it'd be interesting to see if they start doing some original stuff for the show. But even still, if you haven't seen it, then it's new to you, and I hadn't seen it, so it was new to me. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty awesome. Like I said, I was pretty happy to see the Bullet Club on the show. So I would definitely recommend anybody who hasn't heard already going and checking out Talking Shop. It's one of the best podcasts. This is just fun. It's not like some of these other shows where they're, totally so formatted or whatever, regimented. It doesn't have commercials. It's just an awesome show. It's a fun show. Just a couple of guys just, shooting the breeze, and they got their friends there, from different wrestling organizations, and it's just a cool podcast. Like I said, it's always got some fun moments and always has some laughs for sure. His Guns and Gallows, the Machine Gun Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the Director of Chaos, are two of the best guys in the business, especially when it comes to on the mic. And definitely, like I said, I enjoy their podcast, and I enjoy seeing them in the ring. I thought this was a pretty good show. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated.